Good morning. So, starter ACs. So, I was asked to do this a few times. Specifically, this is the one for the AC1 starter AC versus the others. This is the version that Royal put together. Basically does the job pretty well. I went ahead and changed a couple little tidbits on it. Namely, I swapped out the EO core for the hanger core just because there's no overboost in AC1. And also, then I could use that same core on the AC2 one. And also swapped around the colors a little bit. Just because, you know what? You could never really see the blade on the original one, so I figured that color needed to blend, and then I just changed the colors to be more appropriate, at least for the most part. Now, basically what we have here, we're going to start off with the AC2 starter AC, or at least as close as I could get to him. Long story short, he's got a burst rifle instead of the regular one. It feels like I think it looks more appropriate. Got the missiles on the back since he was the only one to start off with the double lock missiles as far as I'm aware. And then the blade, although it is dramatically stronger than the starting one, it looks nigh identical to the one from AC2, and also, he is so inaccurate with it that frankly he may get, one hit, maybe two hits, I don't know, but just in general testing, I feel like it's more or less the same thing as him having a starter blade, while also looking very similar to the thing. Also, even though it's a wave blade, because he's not specifically given the chip to use it as a wave blade, he can't figure that out. So, there you go. He basically uses a wave blade as a melee one, and just happens to look suspiciously like that one in particular. Now, the way that we're going to do this, similar to the other one, 1 versus 5 fights, I'm just going to have him go through and fight every one of them, just kind of see where it goes. We're going to do best 2 out of 3 on each of those. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So we've got him for the AC1 one. We've got the Gecko here for the AC2. We've got the 3089 Taurus for AC3. For later 3rd gen, that one got overwritten, but the Taurus pretty much beat it every single time anyway. It's just better. And then for AC4, we've got the Typogyre, made by Azure, and then we've got, for 5th gen, we've got the Lone Mercenary AC, and we've got Flamefly to represent the different starter ACs, because it had a few of them. Flamefly is basically just the basic one that you start off with. It's a pretty close approximation of the kind of junky thing that you start with. But at any rate, that's the way it's going to go. All of these have no tuning on them, with exception to 5th gen. I don't believe 4th gen has tuning, but we'll see. They don't have optionals. Again, tuning's been removed from their equipment, and they're pretty darn basic for the most part. But without any further friggin' ado, let's get this going. Oh, actually, there should have been more ado. So, this music. Shape Memory Alloys, there's a few different versions of it out there, but this particular one, it is Synth 1 Shape Memory Alloys by a Shuke Mononofu. I don't know, the description's in Japanese or whatever, so I can't really tell you whether they're the one that made it, or whether they're, just pasting it from somewhere else. I think they're the one that made it, at least that's my assumption based on what I see here. Main reason I'm using it is because it's actually the longest version of Shape Memory Alloys I could find. For whatever reason, there's no extended version of it that I could find in a brief search here. So, it is what it is. It seemed like it was the perfect music to have for this kind of fight. Alright. So far, it looks like the AC1's going to do it. Actually, you know what? I may just do one fight for each one, because these are going to take a while. And they're pretty much going to be consistent. I think unless there's something, amazingly different about one of the fights, I'm just going to do one. Also, I should point out that these legs that this one's using, the general feel seemed closest for this one. Just kind of the midsection of legs seemed closest. The only legs that actually have the double toes are the EDFs that the AC1 is using right now. But honestly, those didn't have the right feel. The orders here generally gave me the right kind of feel that I was looking for on these ones. And the head, I mean, this is the closest thing you could get to that weird teddy bear thing. What the hell were they on when they made that one? I don't know. But yeah, it's looking pretty solidly towards AC1 here. Don't see any need for a rematch. It feels like that burst rifle is just not really getting that kind of damage out. Yeah, there we go. He's just getting pelted with missiles. So all their AIs and tendencies are near identical. They're just slightly adjusted for their respective head parts. And alright, you know, I was having higher hopes for this one, but it's, I don't think it's going to be able to do it. Unless it suddenly pulls out some crazy dodging competence right here. Nope, goodbye. Or not. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. Are you serious right now? Oh, wait, never mind. He figured out the disc. Crap. Okay, 9 times out of 10, he can't figure out the disc. He typically will just try to use it as a melee type thing. But yeah, there we go. The AC1 won it anyway. He might have been able to pull it out with missiles and blade eventually, but I don't know. It's a maybe. So I'm gonna say that one goes to AC1. If we have time, we'll go back for a redo. And try to keep these under a preposterously long amount of time if possible. Since the 1 hour long ones and all that didn't exactly go over well. Alright, so next we have the 3089 Taurus, representing 3rd gen. Give this a go. Kind of feel like, I don't know, the formal legs might have been a little bit better for this as a starter, but they're the starter legs. They're good enough. Alright, so their weaponry is identical. Their everything is near identical. I believe the Taurus has some marginally higher shell defense. And that's not really on account of the core, but that the starter brick arms kind of have a tendency to have slightly higher shell, whereas the ones that he has there are a bit more balanced. So while in general you'd probably want the lighter weight ones, you know, in this type of situation where almost all the damage is shell based, I believe the Taurus has the advantage. Then again, this one's just based off a rusty piece of crap blue Taurus. What can I say? It's the starter car. Alright, so far AC1's winning it, but very slightly. It's super close here. Oh, I should probably reset that music there, huh? Hey, why don't I just put a completely different version on? Why not? Number alloys. Okay, it's just gonna pull the same one again. What gives? No, whatever, just replay it. Yeah. Now he has no musics. Oof, nice. And friggin' Taurus suddenly pulling it out here. Oh, yeah, I think this might go to AC1 here. Yeah, of course YouTube breaks, like, the second I want to use this thing. Come on now. Load music, you dick. There we go. It's back. That's more like it. And yeah, there we go. Looks like the Taurus... Oh man, they're both out of missiles though. Nice! Okay. Loving it. Yes, I have an absolute 3rd gen bias, bite me, but dang it. 3rd gen was what I grew up with. Alright. Well, I mean, I guess technically 1 was, and then 2 was, and then 3 is just the one that I got crazy stuck on. But, whatever. Mentally, that's what I did. Okay. So, next we have against Gen 4 with the Type Hogar. Here it goes. What kind of map are you getting? Islands? Fitting. Fitting. Yeah, I was considering to call this thing the Shape Memory Alloy, but there wasn't enough room in the text box. So, nah. Okay. So, Hogar's definitely got the AP disadvantage, but he's also got a massive advantage in terms of both movement and firepower. More so short-term firepower. His blade's stronger, his rifle's quite substantially stronger, and the warhead missiles can potentially trigger an overheat, so it doesn't seem like he's going to use them much. Oh, dang. Okay. That is surprisingly little damage. And this is what I mean about all the shape memory alloys being super short. Like a minute and a half. You know what? Never mind, if it's gonna be that short, we're gonna put this on. Probably my favorite music of the entire series, right here. As soon as it loads. Fine, I'll stop looking at it, then it'll load faster. But Artificial Sky Tribal. From the one of the snow missions in the AC, I think it was Phantasma remakes that were in Nexus. But yeah, favorite version of Artificial Sky by far. Starts off with that weird 90s guitar thing, and then just kind of goes from there. Oh crap! Okay, there we go. AC1 guy just beat it next. Alright, and then we have the 2 facets of Gen 5, and you might be saying, hey, what the hell gives with that? Well, first of all, where did I even put it? I actually might have overwritten it now that I think about it. Let's go run down here, see if it comes down here. Shenanigans, possibly? I don't know. I don't actually remember where the hell I put these. Oh, there we go. There's the Taurus Nexus edition. So we do have later 3rd gen. See how it does. This is actually perfect, because it ended up losing to 3rd gen, so maybe it'll win against late 3rd gen. Oh, dang, you know what? No. I'm gonna change the music yet again, because this is definitely what's needed. I don't know how I didn't put this on in the first place. So this is the Revolution mix. Which is basically like a friggin' Armored Core mixtape. So there you go. I kind of want to see the Nexus Edition win this. Again, this isn't like a, oh my god, 1st gen is old kind of thing. I just mean I like the design of this thing. Like, aesthetically, I love that this thing is just basic and so crappy looking, you know? It's, like, this looks like the kind of junk thing that somebody would say, hey, you know, look, this took us $5 to put together. You know, good luck not dying kind of situation. But yeah. No, AC1 probably had the best like overall map design. I'd say probably 3 had the most interesting just general scenarios, because some of the fights were pretty dang awesome. I think 2 kind of nailed it in terms of like general, like, I don't want to say spectacle so much as it somehow managed to really nail that weird isolation feeling that a lot of these games kind of have. In late 3rd gen, I don't know. That was just more a mix of cool ideas and iffy implementation, but I mean, Nexus was awesome, but then the heat mechanics threw a lot of people off. I mean, 4th gen was definitely the one for spectacle. And then 5th gen... I don't know, 5th gen kind of reminded me of old Twisted Metal for some reason. It had that cool gadgety thing, but it felt like there wasn't enough visual feedback, in my opinion. That's the thing that always kind of threw me off. Like, with all these, these earlier ones, it's so easy to tell what's going on. And then you get to 5th gen, it's just like all the grain and sand and all this other crap. It's hard to tell what's going on. But yeah, there we go. AC1 wins another one. Now let's see if we can figure out where in the crap I left behind those 5th gen folks. Because there's a very good chance I might have just deleted them too. Weirdos, possibly? One of them under tomato? One of them might have been under tomato. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so we got the Flamefly, representing a relatively close version of the 4th or 5th gen starter AC. He is basically a joke fight that shows up midway through the game. Kind of the 5th gen equivalent of Crossback in many ways, except he shows up in what is basically a starter AC. Like, hey, I built this thing out of trash that I found in the junkyard. Apparently that is literally the story, according to what people have told me. Somewhere that's mentioned. But yeah, he sort of shows up in this junk thing, like, oh, I'm all young, time to kill all them veterans or whatever. I'm totally gonna take over all their ranks, and then, you know, he gets friggin' rocked because he can't do anything. So he's got a rifle and pulse rifle. Not particularly good is the thing. He also has the tendency to walk around instead of boost most of the time, because his energy situation is a little bit dire. Also, his defense situation is pretty depressing overall. He holds up a little bit better in early 3rd gen just because of having general tankiness, so in order to give him the same kind of look here, you know, I gave him some pretty hefty parts. He can't seem to figure out what the hell's going on now, though. Like, he does have hanger weapons that are pretty strong, so if he's out of ammo... Oh, he was charging, that's what's up. Alright, he's gonna be close. Gonna be close. Nice. Alright, so the starter wins another. The AC1 starter. Now, last one... Actually, I think the last one's over here. Definitely one of these. Are they in Murky Waters? Yeah, they're right here. This is the Mercmobile. It's more the mascot for Verdict Day rather than the actual thing. And in many ways, it seems like 5 and Verdict Day are almost considered separate gens in their own right, just because, well, they changed a lot of stuff. 5 was a lot more cover-based. Verdict Day was a lot more bazzy, kind of a quick shooter type of situation. And for some reason they changed all the part names, so you know what? That usually signifies another generation, so close enough. I think it's fair to count it. Since the starter AC was pretty much the same, except I believe it was, how'd it go? It's been a little bit since I played. I believe it was, either a Gatling gun and rifle, or no, it was, you had a pulse gun on the back shoulder, had a heat gun in one hand and a rifle on the other, I believe, and then, I believe kinetic missiles in the shoulders? Something like that. The thing was super lightweight and could actually overboost if you got rid of your pulse gun, which I usually did right off the bat, and then switched out for one of the very quick locking kind of wide lock type situations because they had slightly better range. But yeah, alright, so it looks like Verdict Day is going to beat 1 then. Well, there you go. Hopefully that was useful to somebody. And, well, you know, let me know. I'll essentially just keep these going as it were. Actually, come to think of it, let's test it out against the Formula Front starter AC real quick. But yeah, if you have any particular gen you want to see against another particular gen, just let me know. I was probably just going to automatically go through all of these down the road, possibly anyway. I just don't want to repeat the same fights over and over. So I think this one was a pretty decent idea of what each of them would do. But let me know if there's a particular one you want to see, and yeah, if you want to see any new ones made, I'll do that. I have a feeling he's going to be able to beat him, because despite his improved weapons, like, he's got a better blade, he's got a better rifle, and better missiles, not to mention an EO. This thing looks like it should be well-rounded, but it is one joke of an AC, frankly. Mostly because the AI on it seems to be intentionally broken. Kind of like that right there. Oh, dang it. Come on, you can do it. You can do it, Starter AC. Man, this thing is so incompetent, it's hilarious. Why I kind of usually use it as the litmus test for what can possibly survive. Like, the basic minimum to make it into the roster, so to speak, what I consider acceptable is, can it beat this thing? Because if it's just standing still or whatever else, it'll just end up dying to that EO. But if it's capable of dodging whatsoever, it'll be able to beat this thing. If it's got even remote amounts of firepower, it'll be able to beat it. Again, I think this might actually be my favorite test AC, just because it's got a decent amount of different weapons. You can see if it's got some glaring weaknesses, and it doesn't have a tendency to fight back particularly well. Looking you, bizarrely aggressive and evasive Last Raven's test AC. But alright, so there you go, and let me know if you have any other requests.